Alright, what's going on everybody on YouTube? Griffin here coming back to you guys with another live stream from the Millennial Motivation Entrepreneur YouTube channel. First and foremost, before we get going, if you're new to the channel and tuning in for the first time, we'd love to have you here. Definitely consider hitting the subscribe button below and hitting the bell icon right beside it. That way you'll be notified every time we go live or upload another video. I know we're coming close to 1,000 of you all, so that's awesome just to see this community continue to grow. Last I checked today alone, we added another 3 or 4 of you, so it's just awesome to see us just continue to add on to this awesome community we got going on here. You're gonna have to excuse my hair today. I actually ran out of hair gel. Perfect timing with salons or whatever. I just go to Great Clips personally, cheapest place to get your hair cut, but everything's all closed, and I ran out of hair gel and whatnot today, so excuse my mess of a hairdo. But yeah, with that, I will probably, let's just make sure really quickly we're up and going. We are all good to go, and if we have any issues, of course, as you guys start to tune in, definitely just let me know in the chat if we ever have any streaming issues. I know last week we had one issue, but ever since then we've been good to go. So we'll just go ahead and hop right in. I know we'll start having a few of you pop in here in a few minutes. Last I checked a minute ago, we didn't have any, but I know you all will start filing in here in a minute as you get the notifications and whatnot. That's why I always mention hit that bell icon. It should. I know in the past I get comments from a few of you guys saying you don't get the notification even hitting the bell icon. That's something to do with YouTube. I would definitely shoot them a message and say what the hell is going on with that. But yeah, as long as you hit the bell icon, you should be notified every time we go live. We do these Sunday stock watch, stock talk type of deals every Sunday between 5 p.m. Central and 8 o'clock. Right now it's pretty much going on 8 o'clock Central Time in the U.S., and then, of course, we tend to do 1 or 2 other streams throughout the week, kind of like a middle-of-the-week update. And then usually I try to do like one kind of informative video for like newer traders, investors, just to teach at the end of the day. It's not that I know it all or anything. I'm learning just like the rest of you all, but I know there's a lot of you guys that are tuning in for the first time, newer guys, newer traders, and I definitely want you guys to avoid the mistakes that I've made, and I just try to reinforce that over and over and over. So like I said, we'd love to have you here. But with that, man, we are starting off awfully rocky. Overnight tonight, the S&P 500 is now down 1 3/4%. I thought we had kind of found a bottom around 2780 to 2775, but we just made a new low a couple minutes ago. Not by much, just a couple of points, but we just continue to kind of slide right now in the pre-market hours for Sunday night. And when we take a broader look here at our 20-day chart, which you guys know I look at the most, especially when it comes to swing trading, ETFs and whatnot, you can see we're pretty damn oversold right now. I'm getting really bad flashbacks of what happened back in February and March, where we were so massively oversold on the 1 hour chart. Pulled up here. I mean, you can even see on the 4 hour chart, we got so ridiculously oversold, but it didn't matter, and we got oversold twice more. It didn't matter. We continue to slide. So again, that's why I always say you don't want to go based off of just one indicator or even 2. You can see, I mean, the MACD was also pretty overstretched to the downside, and we still continue to slide another 200 points from there on the S&P. So definitely don't want you guys looking at just 1 or 2 indicators for sure, but you can see here also on our sentiment oscillator, we've gone pretty damn negative lately. Last time we were this negative was back at the very beginning of April, so coincidentally about a month ago to the date. And then last time we were there as well was in the middle of the worst of the worst, back on March 12th to 13th, it looks like, is when we were also this low. Pretty surprising that when we quote-unquote bottomed, we weren't as low as we were those other times. But again, that's why I always stress, don't look at just 1 or 2 or even 4 indicators. Like, use every single indicator you can, and then obviously just get a feel of the market and then just take an educated guess. But in my opinion, we're starting to get, I wouldn't say necessarily like super overstretched, but we're definitely starting to get a little bit oversold in my opinion. I think if worse comes to worse, we're probably looking around 27 to 27.25. So, I mean, we could by all means still drop another 50 to 75 points, and I wouldn't be god-awfully surprised. But I think in the next week, probably we'll see some sort of support start to build. Like I said, guys, we're kind of in a trading range. We've been in this range now for about, let's see, we'll call it, almost a month now. We've been in this trading range on the low, absolute low end, 2650, but I mean, I guess we won't call it a month. We'll call it not quite a month, about 3 weeks now. We've been in this range of about 2,700 to about 2950. 2965 is obviously our recent high, but for the most part, we're around 29 to 2950. We'll just call it 29 because on the low end, we were in the 29 area. So between 2700 to 2900 has kind of been, for the most part, where our range has been, with the exception of whenever we busted up all the way to 2965 over a period of a day and a half. Essentially, it looked like we were going to actually break out of the trend, but then obviously we got rejected. You can see, zoom in here. We got rejected right off of that upper Bollinger Band on the 1 hour chart. And of course, I have my Bollinger Band set at 2.5 personally. But you can see we hit it and then we got rejected. And then we just continue to slide from here. And we've just kind of been riding along that lower Bollinger Band. Now, again, we're starting to get to the point where it looks like at the minimum, we're probably due for somewhat of a decent bounce. I would say at the minimum, we'd fill the gap probably in the next 24 to 48 hours to about that 2820 range. So we'll see what happens overall from there. I think that 2800 to 2820 level is going to be kind of a battleground to see kind of who's going to take control of the market for a little bit. Is the Bears going to take control and us just continue to roll over? Or are the Bulls going to retake control around that 2800 to 2820 level? And then try to pull us back up. If the Bulls can get control of it around there, I mean, we could see 3,000 within the next couple weeks for sure. I mean, hell, we're still overall only about 200 points off from there. So definitely not like out of the realm of possibility. I mean, we could tell, like I said earlier, I think last week, I was mentioning we were around 2950. I was like, Jesus Christ. I mean, we're already back to 3,000. It's not a surprise if we get a good pullback. But now we've got a decent pullback. I mean, we've pulled back 200 points roughly. I don't know from a percentage standpoint what we've pulled back exactly. We've pulled back at the low 6.5, just over 6.5%. So yeah, decent pullback for sure over the last few days. So I wouldn't be surprised though if we end up a little red tomorrow. I wouldn't even be surprised, like I said, if we end up down to around 2,700 to 2,750. I think a lot of what's going on right now is we had just really kind of some gloomy headlines. I mean, you had Warren Buffett pretty much come out and say, hey, I sold all of my airlines. We know Warren Buffett isn't the type to really sell in a down economic time. He tends to go all in, of course, buy more. But not a surprise, he sold all of... what all was he holding? I know he was holding Delta Airlines. I think he was holding another airline company too. I can't remember though, but I know he was holding Delta Airlines, I believe it was. It'll be interesting to see actually how that one opens up tomorrow. I expect it to probably open up down, probably about what it was down Friday, if not more. This thing could definitely head back to $20 to $22 tomorrow on that news. But, and then I think, I mean, overall, just the headlines. I mean, if we go take a look at ES, for example, if it loads back up, and we take a look at the news has just been pretty negative. I mean, you can see, obviously, Warren Buffett talking more about coronavirus. Warren Buffett talking about the panic and whatnot, talking about this is the worst, so to speak, in 89 years. And like this bullshit, don't be fooled. A 40% drop could hit next year. Like just bullshit mostly, obviously, just a lot of speculation, but it's all been negative. So When the market first opened up and I saw that pretty big drop, that's the first thing I took a look at was just news headlines. I wasn't even reading these. I was just looking at news headlines, and they were pretty much all negative. There was maybe like one that wasn't really negative or positive, talking about Gilead, but overall the market sentiment from a news standpoint, of course, is negative. So like I said, I wouldn't be surprised overall if we end down tomorrow. We might see a brief little rally just because the indicators are so overstretched right now to the downside. We might see a brief little rally overnight. We might go back to only down about 0.75%, cut the losses in half, something like that. But overall, I kind of expect a down day tomorrow, honestly, unless if something we're not really predicting that we can tell in the future, something that we just can't predict happens, and then we have a huge turnaround. But overall, honestly, my target for tomorrow probably around that 27.50 range, maybe even 27.25, depending on how bad it gets. I think 27.25 is probably the absolute lowest we would go tomorrow. And then at that point, I'm probably looking at a decent rebound. So I'll be averaging down. You guys know I was holding TQQQ, which is obviously affected by the NASDAQ, which is also down about 1.5% currently. So that position is not going to look very good tomorrow since it's 3 times whatever the NASDAQ moves. So it'll be down roughly 4 to 6%, maybe even more tomorrow, depending on how much the NASDAQ slides. NASDAQ, I'm looking for support probably between 84.25 to, let's see, or I guess we'll just say 84, somewhere around like that 84 to 83.50 at the absolute worst. That's got a ways to go. Of course, it could drop another 1 to 200 points. I don't think it's going to happen, but we'll see. If it does, I just hope it all does tomorrow. That way I can average down really good on that position and ride it back up. The NASDAQ will probably experience more of a pullback than anything just because, of course, it's been on a hell of a run lately. 4-hour chart's about to go oversold, but you can see we were down in the 6,600s, and this thing rallied all the way up to like 9,100, 9,200. So up like damn near, not quite 50%, but it was up like 40+% in the last few weeks. So it was definitely due for a good pullback. I might even, depending on how bad of a day it is tomorrow, I might hedge with a little bit of SQQQ in case if we continue to go down, I'll have that position making some money back, at least having some sort of profits coming in, of course, because the goal is obviously to lock in some profits on a week-to-week basis, and if we have to hold a position longer term, then so be it. And then we'll average down, of course, if necessary. So that's kind of what I'm looking at, and I just play the NASDAQ the most just because it's the most volatile. I'm not saying that I'm playing NASDAQ futures. Futures is ES and MES for me personally, but when talking about those leveraged ETFs, we tend to play the NASDAQ ones the most because, like, let's see, TQQQ, for example, was down 9%, which obviously means SQQQ was up about 9%. Whereas if you go look at like SPXL, it was only down about 7 to 8%, and SPXS was up about 7 to 8%. So you had over a 1% difference there between the S&P ETFs and the NASDAQ. And then also if you look at like UDOW, another leveraged one, it was down only about 7.4, which is a big move still, but was only down about 7.4%, and then SDOW obviously was up about 7.4%, so about 1.5% difference there. And that's how it tends to be almost on a day-to-day basis. There's a couple days where the NASDAQ underperforms in terms of losses or gains than like the S&P and Dow Jones, but more times than not, from what I've noticed, is the NASDAQ tends to, by the end of the day, usually in general, but by the end of the day, it tends to outperform whatever the overall market sentiment is, downside or upside. Right now, I think they're about the same, actually. See, down 1.44%. ES is down 1.37. So, yeah, it's still actually down a little bit more than everything else. Looks like the ES, the last few minutes, is trying to have a little bounce here. Yeah, it's up about 12 to 13 points off the low. So you had a good little trade opportunity there if you play the 1 minute chart. It's just with the 1 minute chart right now, it's been such low volume. Sunday night, of course, low volume. The chart's been kind of ugly, especially if you're like me, you like to use those Bollinger Bands quite a bit for day trading. You can see there hasn't been quite a lot of outside of what happened at the open. Hasn't been a lot of movement really. Such low volume. It'll be interesting to see actually if we can break out here. It's trying to. We'll see what happens. We had our move up, move down. Usually means you're going to see a decent move overall, but we'll see. We had the same thing happen here a second ago, and then we bounced. Same thing there. So we'll see what happens. This is going to be kind of a resistance level. Again, it's been a resistance pretty much all evening since we dropped, so we shall see what happens. Let me check on our stream real quick. I see we got 4 of you tuning in. And of course, guys, the whole point of the stream, too, for the Sunday stock talk, stock watch deal we got going on here, the whole point of it, though, is if you guys have any questions, any ticker symbols, doesn't matter what it is. I don't care if it's a penny stock. I mean, more than likely, I'll tell you not to invest in it, but I don't care what you guys are looking at. Like, if you have any questions or you want me to take a look at them and just get someone else's point of view, definitely just shout it out there in the chat. That's why I got it pulled up here for, because it's definitely not pretty by any means. So if you have any questions or anything at all, feel free to shout it out there, and I will definitely answer it. I'm never going to give you like overall like, no, you should not invest in this. Yes, you should invest in it. I'll tell you my point of view, and I'll tell you what I would do with my money. But I will never tell you guys like straight up like, yes, you should invest in this, or no, you shouldn't. At the end of the day, you need to make your own decisions when it comes to that. But definitely here to give you like my point of view and try to give you the best reasoning based on the charts, or if I know about the company and whatnot, I'll of course mention that. But yeah, and of course, as always, if you're new to the channel, we'd love to have you here as well. Hit that subscribe button below. Hit the bell icon. Like I said, we do these every Sunday, and we also do another like 2 streams, 1 at the minimum, but usually another 2 streams throughout the week. Just kind of like market updates, kind of portfolio updates, what I'm holding, why I made my trades, that kind of thing. And then I have another stream usually. I try to at least every week where I kind of just teach newer traders just different things from indicators to swing trading to futures to just all different aspects of the market. Ways to make money in this market at the end of the day. So we got rejected once again though at that 27.82 to 27.83 level. So we'll see what happens. Wouldn't be a bad time to enter a short. We're breaking the, I believe this is the 8 EMA. Let me see here. Yeah, it looks like we're breaching that 8 EMA, so it wouldn't be a bad idea to enter a short. Yeah, I'd definitely be entering a short here because we got rejected at that upper Bollinger Band on the 1 minute. We just broke the 8 EMA. We'll see. Sometimes it gives us a little fake out and then we bounce at that 8 EMA even though we breached it. Sometimes it'll still bounce above it and then trick us, and then that's obviously why you have a stop loss set. But I would have definitely got in at 79.50, so we'll see what happens. I predict, based on what's been going on so far tonight, you're probably going back down to the low. Maybe not. Again, we have the 20 SMA here. It may act as a support, but the 78 to 79 range is going to be kind of interesting to see how it plays out here. But so far, you'd be up a point if you had gotten in at that 79.50, which is, of course, a $50 profit per contract position. I'm a little bitch, so if I had that position, I probably just would have went ahead and covered. With this light of volume, the market can change up on you in an instant. I would have just took my money and ran. That's a quick $50 after fees and commissions, about $40, 40 to $45. So take the money and keep it moving at the end of the day. Or if you have enough money to trade 2 contracts, go ahead and cover that one. That way you cover your fees and commissions on both contracts. You have a little bit of profit locked in. Set that stop loss at break even, and then just let it run. Chances are you get stopped out as close as we are. 79.50 is where we would have gotten in. And what I'm doing right now, if you're wondering, I'm just playing out a hypothetical trade. I don't have the money in the account right now to trade ES. I have enough money to trade MES, but I want to get enough money in the account where I can trade 2 or 3 contracts. So you would have got stopped out there, but you covered your profits on that one, so $45 you still locked in. So that's the concept behind that. But as I was talking about a minute ago, might even be worth going long here, actually. Let's see. We'll see. But what I was mentioning is for me personally, I've had the best success where if you trade multiple contracts, because like I said, when you trade multiple contracts, it gives you more options. When you're trading that one contract, you are looking to get the most out of that contract because you have your fees and commissions that for like MES, for example, you got to be up a whole point just to like break even on the trade and be up like pennies essentially if you're using Thinkorswim, because it's like $4.95 or $5 essentially round trip for the micro contract. So I always say it's like best to do like 2 contracts on MES and as well as for ES, but more so for MES because say you have your 2 contracts, it's going to cost you $10 essentially round trip for that trade. Well, say you go up 2 points on the trade, which is usually what we go up at the minimum. At 2 points, this is just me personally what I tend to do. That way I get the struggles, worries of covering commissions and whatnot off the table. As soon as I go up 2 to 3 points, I cover profits on one of those MES contracts because again, MES is $5 per point per contract, not 50. Unlike ES, it's 1/10 of ES, of course. So as soon as I go up 2 points, 2 to 3 points on the MES contracts, I will cover one. That way I already covered the profit for one contract, which is going to at least cover my fees and commissions. And if I'm up 3 points, then okay, I got another $5 or so on top of that. And then I leave the other one running, and I'll set my stop loss at break even. We're already up 2 to 3 points on the trade at that point, so you have a little bit of wiggle room with that stop loss. Set it at break even, and then you let it run. And then a lot of times, more times than not, I would say probably 70 to 80% of the time, what I notice is is that the runner tends to get a lot more. We rarely ever come down to the stop loss. And then usually at that point, we'll set like a trailing stop loss of like 5 points or something like that. Because a lot of times what will happen is you end up going up 7 to 10 points. So then at that point, we're like, okay, let's adjust the stop loss. We don't want to potentially lose this amount of profit, so then we'll set a trailing stop loss of like 3 to 5 points or whatever your risk tolerance is at the end of the day. But me personally, I set them at like 5, usually depending on how volatile the market is. Market like this tonight, probably 2 points. But if you set it at 3, for example, and say you go up 12 points on that runner, so you're up $60, and then say it comes down 5 points and you get stopped out on the trade, you still had 7 points of profit on that runner. That's $35, which is 45 realized, but 35 after your fees and commissions. So that's kind of the concept around 2 contracts versus 1. It just gives you more options. You can be much more strategic and try to maximize your earnings. With 2, where a lot of times with 1, it's like, man, I really want to get a minimum of like 5 points, because a 5-point trade on one contract after fees and commissions, it's only $20. So you're like, I really want to get minimum 4 to 5 points on just one contract, where with 2, like I said, you're just first things first, cover fees and commissions. And then after that, let that one bad boy just run, get as much as it can get, 10, 15, 20, however many. At the end of the day, usually the average is about 7 from what I've noticed with my experience doing that type of method. So may just be something you all want to look into. Like I said, always paper trade something that you're doing for the first time. That's actually what I've been doing lately. Like I said, I don't have enough in the portfolio yet. I will be here in the next month, more than likely. So that'll be fun to start doing that. But I've been paper trading it the last couple weeks now, doing that type of style. And like I said, usually I would say 90% of the time, damn that, 90% of the time we don't get like stopped out at break even where like we lose money after fees and commissions. Usually what happens is we get the 1 to 2 points to cover fees and commissions, usually more, usually like 3 points. That way that first contract's profitable by a couple bucks at least. And then that second one on average, like I said, usually is about 7 points. 7 to 10 points is usually how much that one tends to go for. So we're breaking out right now. So yeah, if you had actually, I wasn't going to say pull the trigger here. I was looking at the indicators. I was like, we're really conflicted at the moment. But if you took the risk and got in around 82 to 82.25, which is where I was looking at it, that would have been a good move for sure. Like I said, I expected us to probably cut our losses in half tonight at some point. Wouldn't that be some funny shit if we do go positive, though? It wouldn't hurt my feelings none. I would love it if we go positive. I'm just trying to be realistic. I do think overall tomorrow's going to be a down day. Like I said, I hope I'm wrong. But I think ES is probably going to head down to that 27.50 range. I said 27.25 at the lowest probably. But 27.50 is where I think it's going to go. But right now we're definitely, over the last couple minutes, chopping at the losses, up 18, 19 points from the low. How's it going, AJ? Let's see. Oil. I thought oil was getting smacked again. So down 7% already. It is approaching the recent support, which was it's pretty much right at the recent support of right around 18.25. Let me take a broader look. It does look like it might be rolling over though. So, man, it's a hard one to decide on right now. Still hasn't touched that lower Bollinger Band. And it did finally get rejected, that one. I don't know. I feel like this could go a little bit lower. End of the year, I'm probably thinking $30 to $40 on oil, but we don't want to look towards 6-7 months out in this current market. But yeah, right now it's so undecided. It looks like it's starting to roll over. It's had a pretty decent run from $6 to $10 all the way up to $20 recently. But you can see almost a hidden little head and shoulders here. We can see a little head, little tiny head right there. Little shoulder. Looks like it's going to start. I think it's going to keep going down short term. It feels like it's ran out of steam here. Then we had that little hidden head and shoulders there on the hourly chart. Let's see if the 30-minute chart shows it better. So head, left shoulder here, right shoulder there. And it looks like we're starting to go down. So, yeah, I think oil's probably going to keep going down a little bit. I sure wish some damn gas prices would follow. We've been stuck around $1.19. Well, we've had $1.09, but right around 109 to 130 is where we've been stuck around on gas down here. So hopefully that shit can continue to follow. They're refusing to put it under $1, it seems. But yeah, overall, it feels awfully bearish at the moment. I mean, hell, it's down 7.5% already. Honestly, man, I wouldn't be surprised if it retests that $10 to $15 level once more. Hopefully, it doesn't go down to 10, but I can definitely see it testing $15 again. That might be a good time to start looking to go long oil. It's around 15. Or if you wanted to, you could even start tomorrow and then just take little positions on the way down. But oil's just been so crazy. Man, I had that one trade on USO, about 2 weeks ago? 2 to 2.5 weeks ago. and I just haven't touched oil since. I was like, man, it's trading like never before. I've been watching the price of oil. It's actually what got me into the markets. I've been watching oil since I was like 14, 15 years old, so coming up on 8, 9 years now. And this is the most craziest I've seen it trade in that amount of time. So, yeah, me personally, I'm still not going to touch it, but I can understand if people want to kind of start nibbling a little bit. Just do it slowly because, man, $10 less than a week or so ago, and it's doubled. It's over doubled in less than a week. So, yeah. If anything, you might want to look at what's that inverse ETF of oil, DWT. But can you not trade this now on redemption for 320? Let me see if UWT. So apparently you can't trade these anymore. Whoops. What's the other ones? Is there drip? I think it is. Yeah, drip, and then you got gush, of course. Now these don't tend to follow oil. I mean, they do follow oil, but not to a T. So you kind of have to be careful with these two because it's not just oil. It's oil, gas, and exploration. Kind of like XOP. XOP is another one, but gush and drip, those are your oil to a certain degree. ETFs, they move 2x instead of 3x. But you see, I mean, it was down 16% on Friday. Drip, though, drip is the one that I'd probably be looking at in the short term, since we're assuming that oil's probably going to go down. This thing would start going up. But man, I hate buying stuff that is up so big on a one-day basis. It'll probably be up to $9 tomorrow. But yeah, if you can get in this under $9, I wouldn't mind a small position. And when I mean small, like less than 25 shares of it. Probably like somewhere around 20, honestly, because that'd be, only like a $200 position, a little bit less, 160, 180, somewhere around there. So like I said, very small position, but I mean, say you got in it at 850, which I don't think is going to be possible, but say you did hypothetically get in at 850 and it bounces up to 10, that's $1.50 times 20 shares. Would be a quick little $30. I mean, just some little cash at least to make on the week, which is essentially what I'm kind of looking at. I'm going to be probably hedging TQQQ tomorrow. This shit came all the way down to $60 tonight. Because I think the NASDAQ's probably going to get hit the hardest out of all the indices because it's gone up like 40% in the last month. So like what I'm doing just to try to keep making a little bit of cash this week is if we can bounce back a little bit overnight into morning, whenever the morning session pre-market opens up at like 6 a.m. on TD Ameritrade, I will probably be buying some SQQQ, which is short the NASDAQ, because it will probably keep going up a little bit this week. So definitely wish I had held. I had like 30 shares of this, and I sold it pretty much break even, but I really wish I would have held because I sold it, Thursday, I think? Yeah, I sold it Thursday, if I recall. So, should have held that. That would have been a decent little profit, but that's probably what I'll do. So, that's kind of the same take that I see for oil, is just hold drip for maybe a day or two, maybe even a quick day trade depending on when you get in it. If you get in it and then you make 10% on it, I mean, that'd be awesome. Good little trade, but like I said, I mean, the goal isn't necessarily to try to get that because you're not going to see that a lot of days. I mean, we have lately because oil, again, has been so volatile, but I mean, if you can lock in 5 to 10% on that trade, that'd be cool for sure. And I used to trade the hell out of gush and drip. I haven't over the last year, almost 2, but at least in the last year or so. But those are the 2 oil ETFs that I'd be keeping a lookout on. Take a look here. I tell you what, the guys that trade the oil futures, man, you got to have balls of steel right now because keep in mind, every penny that oil moves when we're talking about oil futures contracts, and I mean you can see they're not cheap by any means. Oh, and they increased the buying power effect, like the margin requirement. So now, wow, it used to only be like 6 or 7,000. Now it's almost $25,000 to trade it. So almost made me choke. So I don't think anybody's really trading that right now. But whoever is, man, you gotta have balls of steel, because keep in mind, every penny that oil moves, that's $10 of profit loss. So say for example, you shorted oil at the very end of the day Friday, unlikely, but say you did, you're up. I mean, damn, what is that? Is that 1,040 or 1,400, something like that? Let me see. 1.43 times. Oops, I did divide. Times 10. Yeah, 1,400. That's what I thought. $1,430. And now $1,450 is what you would have been up on that position. So, man, I'd love to trade oil, the actual futures, but again, who's got just $24,000 really sitting around? I don't know what the fuck TD Ameritrade was thinking, raising that high. But then again, I mean, you got ES. You know how many margin calls they probably had for people on oil that day oil dropped like 50%? I mean, man. But I mean, even ES is like 13 grand now. And that's another reason we haven't been trading MES, because goddamn, dude, like who's going to want to buy an MES contract for $1,300? $1,320 actually. Like this thing usually trades at $600 to $700. And I mean, if it traded for that, I would be trading it right now, because I could trade 2 to 3 contracts, which is my ideal trading style for that. I mean, I can lock on 2 to 3 contracts. I can lock in on the low end $50 to $100, on the high end $200 to $300 a day on 2 to 3 contracts. But $1,320, I mean, damn, your account has to be at least $2,700 to really, and I mean that's pushing it, because then you only got $80 of cash left in your account. So I mean, I would say you want $3 grand minimum in there to really start trading 2 contracts of that. So hopefully soon they'll lower that shit back down. The market's not nearly as volatile as it's been. For those of you that don't understand like why that happened, so when you're trading futures contracts, you're using a lot of margin, a lot of leverage, kind of like options is what I compare it to, but not like options in the sense, obviously, we have theta and all that. But so with futures, each broker has like their own requirement. The initial requirement is the same. CME sets the initial requirement, which is the amount of money that has to be in the account to be able to hold the position past a day trade. But now within the day trading hours, cash open between 9:30 a.m. Central Time and 4 p.m. Eastern Time, brokers can set whatever amount they want. Like I know Ninja Trader, it's like $500 for ES, which is why I know a lot of you guys like Ninja Trader, but it's a lot of risk. I don't suggest really doing it, but I know a lot of you guys do. But like TD Ameritrade, they set theirs at $1,320. So, I mean, it is what it is at the end of the day. And then like Ninja Trader on MES, I know it's like $50. I think they might have raised it to like 100 or something like that now. A lot of you guys keep asking me why I don't use Ninja Trader, and well, they don't have an app. If they had an app where I could trade on the go, since that's where I do most of my trades, is on the go, in between stops that I'm going to at work and whatnot, then I'd maybe be more inclined to use Ninja Trader. But since at the end of the day, you still have to have the initial requirement, which for CME Group is like I said, like $700 or something like that for MES, it doesn't make it really worth it at the end of the day when you really think about it. So that's just a quick little rundown for those of you that didn't understand. Like I know a lot of you guys were like, what the hell, MES is like $1,300 to trade now. That's why, because these brokers reserve the right at any moment to raise the margin requirements for these contracts. And why did they do it? Because man, they had a shit ton of margin calls whenever volatility went sky high, when we had those 8 to 15% moves within the market on a day-to-day basis. They had margin calls out the ass. So they got to protect themselves at the end of the day, of course, because the broker, they're going to get their money one way or another, but they're doing it to protect themselves, and it kind of protects the trader at the same time, because you got a little bit more wiggle room before you get a margin call. So, because think about it, if they set it twice as high as what the requirement is, you have quite a bit more wiggle room before you'll be in some real deep shit. They'll call the margin requirement before you get in too big of a hole. So that's the reason for that. But hopefully, I think honestly they're not going to change. A lot of us are thinking the market isn't nearly as volatile as it's been. I mean, you can see we've gone up quite a bit, and now we're kind of stationary. We're not having these huge swings. The biggest swings we're really seeing now are like 1 to 3% versus 5, 10, 12%, where we were hitting circuit breakers and everything else. But I don't think they care about that as much. They're like us, waiting on what's going to happen with this virus, because all it takes is one bad turn to happen where, say, the U.S. opens back up and cases shoot back up and we go back on lockdown. You're going to see the market go through the same shit it did back in February and March. So I think they're kind of just playing it better safe than sorry. I don't really expect these margin requirements to go away until, honestly, the end of the year, is what I'm thinking, because you got a lot of experts, is what they call them, who are saying that maybe, just maybe, coronavirus might come back this winter and kind of be like the swine flu, where it's kind of here to stay, essentially, to a certain degree. And I think that's what a lot is kind of pending on, not just for TD Ameritrade, but our overall world as we know it right now. So, interesting times. Sucks ass. Let's just call it for what it is. It sucks ass to live right now in this current world that we are in. But hopefully we are still doing all right on the stream quality and whatnot. And if you're enjoying the stream, definitely make sure to hit that like button. I greatly appreciate that. And like I said, if you're new to the channel, we'd love to have you here. We got almost 1,000 of you now. Last I checked, it was like 975, 976. So we're in the home stretch now. If you're new, we'd love to have you here. Definitely consider hitting that subscribe button below. Like I said, hit that bell icon. That way you'll be notified every time we do these streams. Like I said, we do them every Sunday, usually between 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. Central U.S. time, just after the market opens up usually. And then we also do another 1 to 2 streams throughout the week, kind of as like market updates, portfolio updates. And then I try to do a video every week where I just teach you all something that I've learned, essentially. Because that's what it's all about. I want you guys to avoid, like I said, making the mistakes that I made early on. I still make mistakes. I mean, I catch myself. Like I said, I should have held SQQQQ. I think I threw too many Q's in there. But should have held that. I'll take a look, see what went in, what was going through my mind exactly whenever I sold that. But I definitely should have held that. I don't know what I was thinking. I think I just saw that position was down so much at one point that I was just happy to pretty much close it for break even. But can't be in that mindset. That's what I can't stress enough. When you have a position that's down, of course it sucks, but is every trade just going to go boom, 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 just make money after money after money, just consistently, not ever have any downward movements when you're swing trading, especially, but even day trading? No. So you're never going to time everything perfect. I mean, you got to think, when we're talking about these ES contracts and MES, all that stuff, I mean, we're talking about covering 2 to 10 points. I mean, you look at a 2 to 10 point move is roughly, say, 2 points. That's 0.1% move. 10 points even is about not even 0.5% move, 0.4. So it's a totally different ball game with futures compared to when you're buying actual stock or ETFs where you're looking for 1%, 2%, 5%, whatever your target is. It's a totally different ball game because in this game over here, all you're looking for is just a couple points. You're not thinking in terms of percentages. You're thinking in terms of just points. Give me half a point. Give me 2 points. Give me 10, whatever. Where stock, I mean, you're thinking, I mean, I need a pretty decent move. 1%, 2%, 5 would be awesome. But, yeah, they're definitely totally different ball games. And you just have to keep a level head and just stay confident that you know what you're doing at the end of the day. And if you don't, then you should be paper trading it. Simple as that. Take a look at everything. Oil is down again over 7.5. Dow is down a little bit less too, 1.2%. ES is still down about 1.2 as well. And then the NASDAQ is actually outperforming a little bit right now, only down 1.17%. So we'll see kind of what's going to go on. I expect us, like I said, we might cut into these losses a little bit more. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if we even try to fill the gap potentially and only go to where we're down like 0.2% or something. But overall, I expect us to probably continue to roll over. I'd like to see that 4-hour chart go oversold briefly. Motherfucker just bounced right at oversold, actually. So hopefully it's not making more room to go down. That's what I'm worried about, is we're going to make room to continue to go down. Good thing is it looks like we sure did. We hit the bottom Bollinger Band there. So who knows? We'll see what happens overnight, but we could definitely bounce from here. And who knows? Be off to the races again, back to 2,900 tomorrow, but very unlikely, in my opinion. But that's the thing. At the end of the day, we're just making educated guesses. At the end of the day, we just take a look at all these indicators and just make our best educated guess. I'm not really even paying attention. That's another thing. I'm not really paying attention to necessarily. I mean, I brought up the news headlines and whatnot. I took a look. Well, they don't show on MES. They show on ES. But I was taking a look at the news headlines on TD Ameritrade whenever I saw the market opened up down 1.5%, and I was like, shocker, all negative. And that tends to be how it goes. Whenever the market drops, all of a sudden you see nothing but negative articles. Then the moment the market starts to turn around and go green, you start to see a couple positives linked in there. But the positive to negative ratio is always just, it's ridiculous how much negativity is posted compared to positivity, especially right now, of course, with the coronavirus stuff. So, like, me personally, I'm not allowing the news to determine my trades. And I definitely suggest you guys to make sure that you don't either. Let me make sure we're still doing okay. Because I know it can be hard to not let the news affect your trades and all that stuff, but at the end of the day, these indicators, all of your different indicators, whatever your setup is, it's going to give you a much better idea than what those talking heads on CNBC, Fox Business, whoever you watch the most, is going to give you an overall better idea of what's going on versus the news. I mean, nothing's really breaking news at this point. Like I said, if we have something just that we can't predict come out in the next few weeks or months even, that is negative, then yes, you're going to see the market just go batshit crazy like it did about 2 months ago. But in the meantime, while it's just kind of hanging out, no one really knows what the fuck they're talking about at the end of the day. I don't even think half of the doctors do, if we're just being honest. Just trade based off of those indicators. All of your indicators, take your best educated guess and just hold it for the long term. Just hold it, but I'll tell you what, I would not be trading options right now. Unless if you're just doing something like a vertical spread, where you're saying, hey, as long as the market stays above X or stays below X, then I make money. Those are the only options I'd be touching right now. As for calls and puts, ain't the time for that shit. It's just not. That's just my opinion on that. But yeah, like I said, it'll be interesting to kind of see what happens overnight tonight. That's pretty much it for this stream. If you guys don't have any more questions or anything, I'll go ahead and wrap it up. We've already been on for close to an hour. So hopefully you guys did enjoy the stream. If you did, definitely make sure to smash that thumbs up. Like I said, I greatly appreciate that. And if you didn't, feel free to hit that thumbs down. All I care about is just the interaction with you all, trying to see what you all like and don't like at the end of the day. And like I said, again, if you're new to the channel, we'd love to have you here. Definitely consider hitting the subscribe button below. Hit the bell icon right beside it. That way you'll be notified every time we go live or upload another video. And haven't even mentioned this yet. If you're not in our Discord group chat already, and you see Chase actually just posted something a minute ago, actually. He is up tonight. Looks like he's paper trading the MES. He was asking me about futures actually in a previous stream, and he's up about $62 so far tonight. So awesome to see that, of course. And we'd love to have you there. There's 18 of them online right now, and there is now 170 of us in there total. So we'd love to have you there. The link's in the description box to join that. And of course, no, I don't charge for you guys to be in there. It's totally free. I just love communicating with all you guys and just throwing different ideas off of one another. We all definitely help each other out quite a bit in there, especially with futures. If you trade futures, I mean, Chase's message was a prime example. We talk a lot of futures in there. And I post live pretty much right at the minute. As soon as I make a trade, I pretty much post it in the Discord group chat. So definitely don't suggest you guys shadow my trades or anything like that, but if you're just trying to keep up to date like with me or anything like that, it's definitely the best place to catch me at. And it's super easy to join. I know a lot of people don't know what Discord is. You can get it on any smartphone. As you can see, I have it on my laptop as well. Again, it's free. I would suggest, though, that you go to Discord, sign up first, make your account and whatnot, and then come back to this video and hit the link in the description or any video that I have. It's in all the description boxes of each video. And if you hit the link, it should take you right to our group. And like I said, of course, I don't charge for anything over here. Working for free over here for y'all. No, I'm playing. This is just awesome. I love YouTube. It's an awesome platform. I've met, not in person, but I've met so many of you through YouTube that have definitely helped me improve as a trader for sure. I mean, I don't know where I'd be without a lot of you all today. So definitely appreciate you all. Like I said, we're coming up on 1,000 subscribers already. That is awesome. I might try to do some kind of giveaway or something once we hit 1,000 subscribers. So you'll definitely want to stay tuned for that. Like I said, hit the subscribe button below. We'd love to have you here for that in the future. And like I said, we'll do another stream here in a couple days. And if you guys, of course, have any questions in the meantime, Discord's down below, social media is down below. Just give me a shout, or once this video uploads, just let me know in the comments. And I'm usually in there on a day-to-day basis as well. But that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Until next time, guys, keep on going out there, make your profits, covering your profits, and achieving your financial freedom this year. And I will see you guys in the next stream. Take it easy, guys.